Special forces on the ground. Undisclosed arms transfers. The documents offer a snapshot of Europe's involvement in the war. Special forces from Europe are present in Ukraine. Nearly half of the tanks traveling to Kiev are coming from Poland and Slovenia. Hungary may also be allowing weapons to fly over its airspace. Just a few of the intriguing facts regarding Europe's involvement in the conflict can be found in a 53-page report Politico saw that was obtained through a leak of unconfirmed U.S. military intelligence records. The disclosure has caused a maelstrom of mind-boggling revelations, forcing the United States to play catch-up with partners. The records explain American concerns over Ukraine's spring onslaught, imply that it spied on South Korea, and present evidence that Egypt was scheming to support Russia's feudal war, according to intelligence. However, most of Europe has been spared from these catastrophic revelations. But that doesn't mean that there isn't information in the records about Europe's war effort. Insights into everything from a UK-dominated Special Forces squad in Ukraine to how and when France and Spain are deploying a crucial missile system to the front lines are revealed in the released data. The documents also make claims that Russian mercenaries may obtain weapons from Turkey. According to the documents, a Special Forces group with a substantial European component is now operating in Ukraine, at least as of March 23. With 50 personnel of the Special Forces, the UK dominated the 97-person US/NATO contingent. 17 members of Latvia, 15 members of France, and 1 member of the Netherlands are also in the group. The team is completed by 14 Americans. The details of the actions the forces are engaged in or where they are in Ukraine are not disclosed in the stolen documents. The documents also reveal that there are roughly 100 Americans working there in total. Predictably, governments have remained mostly mum on the subject. The Brits have refused to comment, while the White House has conceded there is a small U.S. military presence at the U.S. Embassy in Ukraine, stressing that the troops are not fighting on the battlefield. France previously denied that its forces were engaged in operations in Ukraine. One area where Europe is outperforming America is in tanks. One page of the document provides a summary of the 200 tanks that the United States allies have agreed to provide to Ukraine, which is 53 fewer than what the dossier claims Ukraine will require for its spring attack. According to a report dated February 23, Poland and Slovenia appear to be the biggest donors, contributing about half of the total. With 14 tanks each, France and the UK are also significant contributors. The Leopard 2 team is also contributing models of the contemporary German battle tanks that Ukraine spent months persuading allies it needed. Germany, Norway, Portugal, Spain, Greece, and Finland are included in the group. The paper claims Germany had only committed for Leopard 2s, the most expensive variant, although Berlin claimed in late March to have given Ukraine 18 Leopards. Additionally, it shows Sweden promising to provide 10 tanks of an unknown type, possibly Leopards, according to media reports. Separately, the United States has declared that it will send 31 of its cutting-edge tanks to Ukraine, though those aren't anticipated to arrive until at least the fall. The rationale for Europe having the lead in tank development included the ability to quickly transport battle-ready tanks to Ukraine, hopefully in time for the spring onslaught. However, the paper reveals that as of February 23, just 31% of the 200 pledged tanks had arrived on the front lines. However, it did mention that the transfer of the remaining 120 tanks was scheduled to happen. Separately, according to another page that was stolen, France informed Italy on February 22 that a unified missile defense system for Ukraine wouldn't be available until June. The Italian Defense Ministry provided a timeframe in February, stating that the anti-aircraft defense system will be delivered to Ukraine in the spring of 2023. That marks the absolute end of that timeline. In the stack of wrinkled sheets, Hungary appears a few times, providing additional details about a nation that frequently confounds its own allies. In a top-secret CIA report from March 2, it is revealed that Viktor Orbán, the Prime Minister of Hungary, named the United States as one of his party's top 3 adversaries on February 22 during a political planning session. This information is the most startling. It states that Orbán's comments represent an escalation of the level of anti-American rhetoric. In fact, Orbán's administration has steered its own course throughout the conflict, supporting narratives that are friendly to Russia, essentially urging Ukraine to stop the conflict, and caustically dismissing efforts by allies to isolate Russia's economy. Despite promises to prevent such transfers, the stolen U.S. documents also suggest Hungary, which has a tiny border with Ukraine, may be surreptitiously allowing allies to use its airspace. One of the documents that was leaked describes a scheme for Ukrainian pilots to transport helicopters that had been supplied from Croatia to Ukraine through Hungarian airspace. If accurate, the information would refute news reports that the helicopters will be transported on the ground or via flights into Poland, and would also reveal that Hungary is allowing armaments to flow via its skies.